All right. Hello,
Welcome
everyone.
back, everybody.
Welcome back to the Revitalized podcast.
It's Revitalized podcast. You know where it is. You know
Absolutely.
what we're doing.
I'm
We're
Elle.
talking about a podcast and we'll revitalize it.
Yes, I'm
It's good.
Elle.
I'm Justyn.
Yes, and this is the Revitalized podcast, and we are here
Yes,
to
it's the
talk
Revitalized
to you
podcast.
guys about how to make yourself and your family healthy.
That's right.
Because that is something that is so important. Family matters, health matters, and we're going to have a great time today talking about that.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. We got our co-host, Drew, the deputy. Drew, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
That's right, everybody. Hello. So today, it's Thursday. We wanted to recap the week a little bit because it's been an awesome week. It's been a really good week.
Definitely.
Some great moments, some better moments, some greater moments. And I think we got some Q&As lined up. And if we have the time, which really just depends on me, if I can not be super long-winded, just maybe like long-winded, but not super long-winded. We're working on that. We're going to have a fun little game that Drew planned out for us. We don't know what it is yet, but we know it involves carrots. And so we'll start there. First things first, what's the best thing that happened this week? What are you excited about? What are you happy about?
One of the first things that comes to mind is one of our clients. She was able to get back on her regular 28-day cycle. So, syncing through over the course of going through all 4 phases over the course of 28 days. And that is ideal for around, 28 to around 30-ish days is what is normal. But when you can make that time like closer to the 28 mark, that's something that's very encouraging. And especially for an individual who is later in her 30s, a lot of women have been told like, oh, well, the moment that happens, you're going to hit menopause. The moment that happens, a bunch of, bad changes are going to happen. And yeah, sure, people are different, different things are happening. But one of the remarkable things about the body is how resilient it is. And the reality is that our health has changed over the course of the last few hundred years, the last 100 years, quite like decently drastically, especially even the last 20, even the last 5. And we've seen how a lot of women these days are, going further and further into menopause even faster. And one of the things that is very encouraging is when, you have your cycle where you need it to be, you have your hormones where you need it to be. That's very good for your lifestyle. It's very good for your health. It's very good for your mood. It's very good for your mind. And when you have your cycles linked up and timed in the way that they need to, that's very encouraging, because the reality is that, the body can be very healthy. It can be very youthful, but your lifestyle heavily impacts that. It's not everything, but it's one of the major factors. And if we don't take care of ourselves, we're not going to have the results that we want to have. And, and on top of this too, she hadn't had her cycle on a 28-day span in years. So that's something that was very encouraging for her.
That's a big win.
Yeah.
That's a big win. We're proud of you. One thing I'm really proud of, I'm not going to mention his name just for privacy and stuff, but one of our guys, one of our fine gentlemen in the academy, he's a bit of a newcomer, but we just late last week, so this week, last week, same thing, crossed 2 months. No marijuana, which is awesome, really cool. But what's extra cool about that, and I think this is a great point that anybody who is struggling with addiction or has struggled with addiction or knows somebody struggling with addiction should pay attention to, is that it's not just that he has gone 2 months without the marijuana. There's been no cravings, not even a desire for it. And a huge part of that, particularly with this guy, he's got a very strong mind. He's very motivated. He's got a lovely daughter and he's got big dreams and big aspirations. And so that really helps. But particularly is that over these last 2 months, his body has been detoxing. We've been working on his detox, on his gut health, on his lymphatic system, on his immune system, all these things. And one of the big things that we've come to find in our own experience as we work with people with different addictions, alcohol, drugs, even some habitual stuff, mostly substance, food, soda, sugar, drugs, alcohol, that type of thing, cigarettes, marijuana. A lot of the cravings, it's not just a mental thing. It's not just an emotional thing. It's not just a habitual thing. All those things play a role. But what we found is that when people can detox and get the substances from the drugs they've been taking, from the things they've been addicted to, when they can get those out of their body, when you can pull that stuff all the way out and not have it be stored in your fat, not have it be stored next to some organs, not have it be stored in any of these places where the body likes to isolate and contain toxic stuff, cravings go away much faster. Withdrawal symptoms go not completely away every time, but they get a lot easier to deal with, a lot easier to manage. And that's just something that particularly very proud of, because with my own history with addiction, it wasn't a substance abuse, it was a pornography problem. But I really relate and understand what that does to your psyche, to your identity, to your relationships, to your lifestyle, to your dreams, your aspirations. When you see yourself as an addict and you're locked in with this thing just holding power over you, it's not a good thing. And if you can't beat this, then what else can't you do? And if that's got control over you, then it just puts a lot of thoughts in your head, none of them good, a lot of feelings in your heart, none of them good, a lot of stress and wear and tear on all the relationships. And that's just not what we want. We don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. And so anytime somebody gets their power back and they get to beat an addiction, they get to overcome something like that, whether it's big, whether it's small, or somewhere in the middle, it's always freaking awesome. So props to you, my man. If you're listening to the podcast, you know who you are. Very proud of you, my friend. And this is first 2 months of many. But yeah, just it's been a great week. Some of our guys have had some awesome wins. Some of our ladies have had some awesome wins.
Yes.
What did we recap on the classes that'd be good to mention here?
One of the classes Justyn and I hold is we hold this one called Vital Unity, and it's about marriage health. Mm-hmm. And essentially a lot of couples, one of the things that we try to help them with is working together to have better health.
That's right.
Because sometimes in families, like with families, when it comes to them improving their health, it's only maybe just the mom, maybe just the dad, but we're here for the whole family, for the health of the whole family. And in order for the whole family to be where they need to be, all of them, each of them, the two leaders in the household, so the dad and the mom, really need to be cooperating well, communicating well, and the wife is supporting the husband is taking the brunt of the leadership, so all the hard stuff and everything, and the woman gets to also have plenty of responsibility herself. But it's essentially just like a band, just like an army. We both have different positions. Mm-hmm. And learning how to work better as a team is something that is so important. And so when we do that together and we start with something as beautiful and important as health, mm-hmm. it's something that actually goes into every other area.
That's right.
So, learning skills around hearing each other out on how to support one another in your health will go into how to support one another in, other areas of your relationship, in the way you communicate over finances, in the way you communicate with what you want from the other person, like just in general, just in your relationships and emotional health. Mm-hmm. And it's something that is really wonderful. And one of the things that we went over was how it's a give situation, not a give and take situation.
Yeah. Because you hear that all the time.
Yeah.
It's just a give and take. You got to give a little, you got to take a little. Mm-hmm. It's got to be even. It's got to be split. It's got to be 50-50, all that stuff. And it sounds good in concept. Yeah. It sounds good in theory. But what we've found in our own marriage and through working with a lot of the other married couples in the academy and having some really, really great examples of long-term, happy, passionate marriages that we've got to be around and see and learn from and that type of thing. And that's been just huge for us. If you're a young person, one of the best pieces of advice that I can give you, just find somebody who is living a life or living part of their life in a way that you really, really want, mm-hmm. and just learn as much as you can from them. If you have to pay them, pay them. If you have to study under them, study under them. If you have to spend a lot of time with them, do that. If you got to do some yard work, do that. Whatever it takes, but just to try to learn from the wisdom of people who have experience in what we need experience in. So massive, so critical. And going back to our main point, one of the things that we figured out when we were talking about this a lot, actually last night on Vital Unity, is it's not a give and take. It's not a 50-50. That doesn't work. What does work is a give and give. It's 100-100. It's not this, I give you this, and so you have to give me that. That's just going to happen, but that's the wrong mentality.
It's not a transaction. It's a partnership.
Exactly. If I devote 100% to Elle and she doesn't have to worry about anything, she is now freed up completely and totally to devote 100% to me. So I don't have to worry about anything either. If I take care of her, she doesn't really have to take care of herself. And so she can take care of me. So I don't have to take care of myself. So I can take care of her. And she can take care of me. And we can take care of each other. And it's a great, great, great thing. And so the idea of 50-50, the idea of splitting, the idea of compromising, they sound good in practice. Not in practice, they sound good in theory. But in practice, 100-100 is the thing that actually works, because then we're building this together as a team, right? Not as negotiation partners.
Yeah.
Not as roommates, not as co-parents. We're doing this as a husband and a wife.
Yes.
We're doing this as best friends. We're doing this as life partners. We're doing this together all the time, you know? And it's just something that, at least for our own lives, nobody really talks about.
No, not really.
You know?
Especially over how to actually support the other person.
Yeah, totally.
You know, because the thing is like, it's one thing to have a position in your heart of loving the other person. It's another thing to have the skill of actually like loving them, like how to love them properly, right? So I love Justyn, but I had to learn him. I had to be a student of Justyn in such a way where I understood the way
How was that, by the way?
Fantastic. It grew me as an individual. It was a character.
Right.
It was very character building. How it helped me. I had to learn the best way to communicate with him, the best way to motivate him, the best way to support him, the best way for me to help him to know he's not alone, for him to have less stress, for him to have more peace, and figuring that out, because we're two different individuals. And not only that, we're like very different, because I'm female and he's male. So alone, we have different ways of processing. We have different ways of communicating.
Wouldn't want any other way.
Absolutely. That's for sure. But the point being, though, is when we learn how to not just love each other, but how to be loving towards each other with the person that you're specifically loving, then that is just so fantastic, obviously, and enriches life so much, because marriage is so beautiful. And one of the best places to start is actually with health, right? It's just like with your mental health. It's just like, you know, helping yourself to really start caring about yourself more and taking good care of yourself. If you start with your physical health, that is going to naturally give you good principles and good training on how to start caring about yourself.
But it's so beautiful, though, because health, in 98% of circumstances, obviously there's outliers, obviously there's, you know, very, very, very unique situations. The vast majority of the time, most of the time, health is really, 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 really simple. And if we can get good and practice at something simple, if Elle and I can learn how to support each other in our health, and we can take those skills and then transfer them over to something that's maybe a bit harder, like maybe finances, like how to raise kids, like religion, like in-laws, like the next vacation spot, whatever. If we can practice on something easy, where we're very likely, as long as we have a good plan, as long as we got good support, as long as we're doing some of the right stuff, you know, health can also be super, super, super complicated if you're doing it wrong. But if you're doing it right, it's real easy. It's really simple. If we can take those skills and practice on something that we have a high likelihood of success with, we can take the confidence from that, the experience from that, the relationship that we build in that, the trust that we have in each other with that, and we can take it over to when something becomes hard. We're not starting from zero. We're not starting from all the way back here. We've built and we've built and we've built, and now we have
a better foundation.
We've practiced, you know, and we've got a, like you said, exactly, just a foundation. And so that the hard things aren't quite as hard. And then once we get those things done, then the easy things are just like ridiculously easy.
And the truth of the matter too, when it comes to a partnership, absolutely, is love is something you grow. It's something that takes time, something that takes correction and healing and unity and harmony. You don't fall in love. You fall into different feelings, right? But when you fall into different feelings, when you fall into different perspectives, when you fall into love, then you can fall out just as easily. You know, that's why they have these sayings like, oh, the honeymoon phase only lasts for so long. And yeah, sure, we're almost at like only 2 years. So it's not like it's been 2 decades. But the point being, because this has been possible for so many people around the world and so many people we know too, is you don't have to stop loving each other.
That's right.
The only thing that really happened was ultimately some kind of miscommunication problem. And the other person stopped hearing the other person, you know, both people stopped hearing the other person. And then when you don't talk, things don't grow. And when things don't grow, they die. And it doesn't mean that, you know, your marriage is doomed if it's not in the most perfect place possible. It just means that in order for it to be where you want it to be, in order for it to blossom, it has to be nurtured. And there's different ways that you can do that.
And protect it.
Absolutely. It has to be protected.
That's a huge part.
For sure.
Absolutely. So we covered that a lot last night. And so obviously it's still fresh. It's still so important.
Yeah.
You know,
we love marriage and we love unity.
But even if you guys are new and you don't know our stories yet, between me growing up with basically no family, just a single dad doing his very best, and then you kind of the opposite end, growing up with a really big family, but
not a really big family, but you know,
bigger compared to me.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the other issues that can come along with that. You put both those things together, and we're extremely passionate about family.
It's true, right?
About having a big family, protecting family.
Because, you know, it's like you saw how, like on your end with the single dad, how, you know, there was almost like there was a beginning and there was no continuation.
Right.
And then with myself, with unfortunately my parents divorcing, it was like, you know, there was a beginning and there was an attempt, but there wasn't the support and the wisdom there to build something strong enough. And I don't say that in any way disrespectfully, like towards anyone who's been through that or anything like this. Divorce is something very, very hard. I can't even imagine going through it, let alone, you know, experiencing as the kid in the matter. But well, I was the kid in the matter, but I just mean, you know, to go through that as someone who is married. But the point being though, is when two people want the same thing, which is to be with one another. Because if someone gives up, then someone gives up. Like, but if two people want the same thing,
but there's always a reason
there for sure. But
there's always something.
But point being though, if both parties want it, they can make it happen. And you know, sometimes that can be seem too simple. And there's a lot of variables that can come up with that. So I don't want to say that too across the board. There's a lot of different things that can come up for sure.
But you know, it's got to start there, because if that perspective, if that mentality, if that agreement isn't there, that like, hey, we still can, then it's impossible. I
believe at least for the majority of the time, it can be resolved in some way. I'm not saying that's the case every time. But for the majority of the time, I believe that there's something that can at least be done, you know, to at least, if anything, have it end on a less harmful and hurtful note.
That's right.
If anything.
That's right. All right. Very cool. Well, Drew, would you mind popping back in, helping us a little bit? We got some questions. I think you had a game as well. How do we start? Like, what's the first question? What do the people want to know?
Sounds good. Yeah. So we didn't explain this on the last one, but I made up fake names in order to.
Oh, right.
Yeah. In order to say who was asking the question.
Yep.
So I'm going to do that again, but announce that they're fake names this time so that people can guess where the name is from. I'm going to make it quite vague, but I will make it into a game in itself. And I'm the only person that knows these.
Guessing names.
Exactly. So
fantastic.
I'm the only one that knows these because I just wrote them in the last 15 minutes. And there'll be a common theme that you guys will pick up on pretty quickly.
Okay. If we guess it, are we allowed to say it, or do we have to? Do we have to leave it for
How
the audience?
about, we should probably leave it for the audience.
Okay.
But
sounds good.
At the end, maybe you can keep your guesses and say them at the end so that everyone has a chance during
Okay.
the
Let's
question.
do that.
Sure.
Let's do that.
Are there any ones from Max from Quebec?
Nope. All of them are going to be named Roger.
Interesting. All right, keep going.
Okay.
All right. So Roger from Basel, he's writing in and he says, why do I crave bad food?
Why do I crave bad food?
There can be a lot of different reasons.
There's a ton.
Yeah.
But if we wanted to try to simplify it, what we found that's most common is people often use food as a comfort, as a coping mechanism. A lot of that usually leads to eating disorders, food addiction, impulse control, that type of thing. And we don't really think that's people's fault. Obviously, everybody has to take responsibility for their own lives, of course. But at the same time, if we think about it, we live in a world where we have to have government regulation to stop people from buying chemical products. You know, we have so much marketing out there, and the science has gotten so good on flavors and manipulating people's palates.
Yeah, and coming up with different names for different chemicals.
Making things convenient, making things colorful. I mean, it's an apple competing with a candied apple. Like you put that in front of two people, most people are going to take the candied apple just because it has so much more flavor. It's a lot sweeter. Everybody loves sweet stuff. Maybe not everybody. Most people love sweet stuff. And that's what most people today, at least for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 decades, have grown up on, is hyper palatable food.
Yes.
Hyper palatable food-like products, I should say. And that has trained our bodies to be very, very, very craving driven, not nutrient driven. So a lot of the time, it's not that people don't have strong willpower. It's just that if you're a runner and all you do is run, you're going to get really, really good at running eventually. But just because you're a good runner doesn't mean you can pick up 100 pounds off the ground, 200 pounds off the ground, 300 pounds off the ground in a deadlift. It doesn't mean that you can drive a car really well. It doesn't mean that you can fly a plane. It doesn't mean that you can get high scores on a math test. Running makes you good at running. Studying makes you good at studying. Eating healthy food makes you good at eating healthy food. Eating food-like products makes you good at eating food-like products. And a lot of the time, it's a habitual, long-term program that people have built over years and months and maybe decades of building the habit and programming the body to always feel hungry and always reach for what you know. And a lot of the time, people know McDonald's. People know Lay's. People know ice cream. Yeah. And they don't know broccoli very well. They don't know steak that often. They don't know whole eggs. And so that would be the simplest way I think we could probably explain it. Is it's just you've trained your body to have those cravings, but you can untrain it just the same.
Yes.
Does that make any sense? I hope that made sense.
That made perfect sense.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Okay.
What would be the next question, Debbie?
Let's do the next question. I got a few minutes left. Let me get a
All right. Sounds good. The next one is from Roger from Brooklyn, and he is asking: is intermittent fasting good or bad for digestion?
So intermittent fasting is really great for digestion, actually. What it will do is it'll really help you, especially if you stop eating later in the day. That's very important. It'll really help you with your digestion because you're not going to be, because typically people will eat too late in the day. And when you go to bed, when you're still digesting, so because you want to cut off your eating about 3 hours before you go to bed. And if you're not doing that, you're most likely not fully digesting your food enough to the point where it needs to, where you can have a proper sleep. And that throws off, that negatively affects your hormones, that negatively affects your digestion overall, because it makes everything essentially sluggish. Your body is a machine, and certain habits will make it less efficient, including not digesting your food properly. And so intermittent fasting, it's a practice that will give your body more time to digest the food that you already had that day, and also an ability to have better and more restorative sleep. And on top of this too, in order for your gut to be repaired, you have to have very, very, very good sleep. You have to have your circadian rhythm as interlinked with, you know, the sun with morning and night as possible. So in the right balance as possible, as aligned as possible. So when you start doing intermittent fasting, and that's when, and the healthiest way to do it for both males and females is when you cut off your eating, like around 3 or 4, something like this, usually around 3. That'll give you extra time to, of course, digest, but you'll still have the chance to get in plenty of calories, plenty of nutrients. So you're not starving yourself in any way. You might end up being a little bit hungry at, later in the day before bed, but that's when you can have like an herbal tea or maybe a supplement if need be, but something like that. It's not like a perfect, full on, intermittent, fasting specifically, but it brings you great benefit to the restoration of your entire body, including your gut, which will increase the efficiency of your digestion.
Yeah. And that last point you made about the timing and the cycle of when to do it is really important, because that's something that a lot of people typically get the opposite. Honestly, like it's more convenient. I mean, most people don't want to skip dinner. A lot of people aren't even hungry in the morning.
Yeah.
And dinner is usually the time where we're all together as a family and we have the fanciest meal of the day and all that kind of stuff. And that's great. And it's super important. And we love family. We love eating together. It's meals. Shared meals is one of the greatest things ever. But if we're talking about strictly for health benefit and health purposes, if you are going to do intermittent fasting, which we don't really recommend you do super, super, super long term, it's a skill that you develop. It's something that you can cycle in when you need it, or for the right reasons,
or you can do it regularly. It totally depends on what your goals are. So it's not like every day. Right. It's maybe a couple times a week or something like that. So it totally depends.
That type of thing. Sorry, Max, stop. Sorry, guys, for everybody watching the live stream. You got to chill out, buddy. But if you are going to intermittent fast, it's very, very good to skip dinner, not skip breakfast. A lot of the time when people intermittent fast, they always wait and eat much, much later in the day. We're saying it's good to eat earlier in the day and stop eating earlier in the day.
Even though that can make it more challenging, it is so much healthier for you.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Let's do one more question, and then let's see if we can roll through this game, and then we'll close out.
All right. Final question is from Roger from Logetown. And he is asking Logetown. Logetown.
Logetown. Logatown.
Don't you mean Logtown?
No.
Huh.
Not anyways, okay, what's the question?
I'm stumped.
Okay. Okay. Do probiotics really work? And are they overpriced?
Do probiotics actually work?
Yeah, and are they overpriced?
Most probiotics are overpriced, not because they don't work, but because they're not the actual probiotic that they have on the label. And the biggest thing that most people really don't understand when it comes to probiotics is taking a probiotic supplement is to help fix a specific problem. That problem is not going to be to rebuild your gut microbiome. One of the most important parts of gut health and your microbiome in general is microbial diversity. Getting in 1 or 2 or 3 different kinds of probiotics from a pill is not going to fix that problem. It can do a lot if you know how to use those probiotics right to help manage your levels of bad bacteria, manage the levels of parasites, give your good microbes a fighting chance to grow and go stronger and repopulate and that type of thing. And if you get a good probiotic, if anything, they're underpriced because they're phenomenal. The issue is it's very hard to find a good probiotic because most people don't know how to look. They don't know which questions to ask the manufacturer. They don't even know how to get a hold of the manufacturer. And then it's really tough to make sure that what information you do get, if you do ask the right questions and you do find the right company, is the accurate, because you need to know the people. You can't just, read a pamphlet. And so if it's a good probiotic that actually has in it what it's marketed to have, underpriced, undervalued, super amazing. If paired with really good, healthy lifestyle changes that can support that probiotic to work well, and if those two things aren't there, then it's massively overpriced. So you might as well not buy it at all because it's just not going to do anything for you. If it does do anything, it'll be very temporary. And you'll notice that within weeks or months, or maybe, 4, 5, 6 months at most, your issues will come right back because it didn't actually fix the problem. It was just a more natural Band-Aid, which is better than a Band-Aid that gives you other problems to deal with that you don't react well to, a lot of chemicals, a lot of synthetics, that type of thing. But for most people, unless you're taking probiotics under supervision or you have experience in the industry and you know how to get a good one, not very good.
Yeah, it's not, supplements are not supposed to be a crutch.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be something that helps you out in a specific time because you're unable to deal with that problem in your diet and in your lifestyle, or you need extra support because you don't have access to something to contribute to your diet or lifestyle.
Exactly. Okay.
All right. Carrot game.
Carrot game.
Yeah. Do you think we have time?
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
We got a few minutes.
So I have 3 questions on carrots and 1 question on a cabbage.
Okay, maybe 1 carrot, 1 cabbage.
1 carrot, 1 cabbage. Yeah. All right.
Let's do that. Okay. So what is this game though? Can you explain it?
I'm just going to ask you a ridiculous question, and you guys can guess amongst yourselves.
Oh,
all right. Okay.
I like guessing games. Okay.
All right. How many carrots would you have to eat to get the same amount of protein as a whole chicken?
Oh, okay.
16,000.
Okay, hold on. Okay, let's think this through for a second. So a whole chicken. So
this is in pounds.
Pounds. Okay, so how many pounds of carrots make 1 chicken? So 1 chicken's got to have what? Roughly like maybe 200 grams of protein, 250 grams of protein, something like that.
I put 200 grams specifically.
Okay, perfect. I should have won the game already. That was a great guess.
120. I just 16,000 was the first thing that came to mind. I'm taking a fun guess. Like 200 pounds.
Okay.
200
so she's
pounds?
doing the under. I'll do the over. Let's say 342.5 pounds.
Oh gosh, is it going to be even more than that? That would be crazy.
That would be
what's crazy is that I had a similar guess to you guys, and it's way under. It's actually 50 pounds.
Only
really?
That I was thinking that actually. I was thinking that, but I was like, no, that can't be, because I honestly was thinking like around 50 pounds, and that was actually a little silly for us to probably even go that high. But again, it's
you just think a carrot, like it's got
it's very, very small.
Yeah, but even that, like it would be equivalent.
50 pounds of carrots is ridiculous, by the way.
It'd be the equivalent of
certain
amino acids, but you'd never be able to actually replace
or
a chicken.
certain types of carrots as well. Anyways,
that's true.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the cabbage one?
Cabbage question.
How many cabbages would it take to support the weight of a blue whale?
Oh my God.
How did somebody calculate this? How is there an answer to this? Oh man.
Extensive research. Extensive research.
5 million?
5 million cabbages?
5 million cabbages?
Okay, can you
probably more.
How much does a blue whale weigh again?
Oh,
roughly?
Gosh.
Oh, I wrote this down too, but give me 2 seconds.
How many tons?
Or grams. How many grams is a blue whale?
Grams? Oh my God.
Same thing.
Literally, no. It's not the same thing.
How many ounces?
200 to 400,000 pounds.
Dang. Okay. Each cabbage, let's say each cabbage weighs about 3 pounds.
Okay. I'm still saying I'm highballing it with 5 million.
5 million?
Because
I'm gonna say 20,000.
That might be
20,000 cabbages.
I'm probably highballing it way too much, but anyways, keep going.
Well, yeah, those are completely different answers. And the real answer is 25,000.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about right there, baby.
I just knew it's like the biggest animal in the whole world.
That's
like it's,
awesome.
It's very big, but it was way too high. I knew it was way too high, but still.
Babe,
what?
Your answer had a 5 in it. So that's great.
Yeah, that's right. That's
great.
right. There you go. I
You
was
did
the
awesome.
5 and he was the 20.
That's right.
Yeah, it's the
That's
same
right.
thing. Same thing.
You put our answers together and we're even more off because it's 25 million.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Oh gosh.
Well, hopefully this was a good episode. Thanks, Drew. We appreciate you, buddy. Couldn't do it without you. Have an amazing day, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the Revitalize podcast. I'm Justyn.
I'm Elle.
And if you take anything out of today, just know that your family is ridiculously important. The health of your family is also super important. And regardless of whatever situation anybody in your home is in, your kids, your spouse, your parents, we know through and through. If someone's heart is still beating, it's not too late. So don't give up. Keep seeking. Keep looking for answers. Keep working at it. And you are going to get there. It's just a matter of time.
Absolutely.
God bless you guys. Thanks y'all for watching. Peace.